Competitive gliding, where man pitches himself into the heavens to battle the elements and his fellow pilots, armed only with experience, guile, and what are true masterpieces of aeronautical design.
This glider is made of carbon fibre, so quite expensive materials,
Yeah.
carbon and Kevlar, same as racing cars and yachts.
Modern gliders have a glide angle of 1 in 40, 1 in 50. The best one's in excess of 1 in 60, which means that for 1 mile of height lost, you've got 60 miles gliding. That's pretty impressive technology.
Of course, that technology tends to look more impressive airborne, but on this gloomy day at the British Club Class Finals in Husbands Bosworth, the gliders were firmly earthbound, conditions far from ideal.
There's a cumulus cloud there, there's another little ragged one there, and they're the sort of clouds the glider pilots are looking for.
The basic problem is there's just not enough heat getting through.
That's one of the main problems.
Bounce back up.
Absolutely, yeah, that's one of the main
That's
problems.
the technical analysis of it.
Yeah, that's good enough.
But on a good day and in the right place, gliding races can be truly spectacular, with pilots flying at up to 300 kilometers an hour, most commonly by riding winds lifting off mountain ridges or jumping between rising columns of air called thermals, in an elaborate game of 3D chess.
In simple terms, you climb in thermals and then you glide, losing height till you get to the next thermal.
I always look at gliding as very much as an aeronautical form of sailing, making the most out of the weather.
The thermals rise from patches of ground that have heated more quickly than surrounding areas. Among a multitude of strategic decisions, spotting good thermals is a key skill.
The clouds themselves are very good thermal markers.
Then you're looking at ground features. Yes, you think, oh, there's a factory down there that might be heating up more than the surrounding area, so I'll have a go towards the factory.
You're trying to string together areas of lift.
We need a bit more brightness on the ground, but very close, but not possible.
It's nice and bright over there behind you.
It's too far away.
While gliders can get airborne in dull weather, they won't stay up for long enough to cover any significant distance, which in this case made it an ideal time to go for a quick spin myself.
I can't fly with you like that.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Or not. Too tall for the glider, apparently, and unfortunately my inability to get airborne rather mirrored one of competitive gliding's major problems, in Britain at least.
Stand down until 2:20.
Typically you could devote 9 days to a gliding contest and only fly on half of them.
Another problem preventing the sport from lifting off commercially is that the field of play is just too big.
The difficulty with gliding competitions is it's difficult for the spectator to see what's going on.
Although moves are afoot to make the sport more commercially viable and easier to understand, the results are remarkable. Real-time graphics combined with multiple camera angles can produce spectacular images, as seen here at a gliding Grand Prix in New Zealand.
He's heading onto the Hunter Ridge. And look, Kawa has turned.
But creating such coverage doesn't come easy. In this case, it required over 50 cameras, not to mention one helicopter to relay the onboard camera signals, plus another shooting air-to-air footage, along with over 60 satellites that handled the glider's telemetry readings. However, despite these impressive innovations, gliding remains stubbornly resistant to income-generating sponsorship or broadcasting deals. There's no big money tournaments or anything like that?
No, not at all. It's very much for the honour.
I'll get a beer at the end of the night. It makes it all worthwhile.
There's no money in gliding. It's costing us, we're having to pay to do it ourselves.
It's all about a bit, doing it for a hobby. So unfortunately you can't get paid for it.
But while income is low, expenditure isn't.
This one would cost you about £20,000 upwards, 20 to 25,000.
There are gliders on this airfield worth somewhat more than £100,000.
Gliders that mercifully got off the ground at last for a quick jaunt, from which they would hopefully return in a few hours.
If we get 6 or 7 round, I think that would be a great result, and we'll feel slightly vindicated about throwing them out into this sky.
And sure enough, after a few hours, like well-trained pigeons, they started coming home. Challenging.
Very challenging, yeah, very challenging. But really glad to be back. Really glad to be back.
Thinking a few times around there that you wouldn't make it round.
I was looking at fields. Yes. About 1,000 feet you start field selection.
Well, we've had 13 back, which I think is very good given the circumstances.
Not bad at all, and not such a bad return for 2 days' patience. As for the sport itself, it too must be patient and hope that someday soon it can translate the gliding experience into something that can be followed, enjoyed and funded by more than just the few.